Have you ever wondered somebody else's opinions on, say, your favorite Marvel movie or your least favorite Marvel movie? Have you ever wondered what people find the best or the worst? Well, I'm here to give some insight onto what I think are the best and worst projects in the MCU. So, today we're going to be doing a Marvel movie slash MCU tier list with all the Marvel movies and shows. And I'll be going over what movies I like, what movies I dislike, and everything in between. So we have our tier list right here, and Ant-Man, I think personally is way better than Ant-Man and the Wasp or Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man Quantumania. We'll see my opinions. So- But I think the original Ant-Man is average. I mean, it's a good movie. I like it. I like it. It's not too bad. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'd say it's like towards the bottom of average. I think it's in between average and bad. If there's a tier in between average and bad, I think that's where it goes. Ant-Man Quantumania. Hot garbage. This movie is a disaster. They did Kang terrible. The MODOK was terrible. The CGI was bad. The lines were terrible. This movie had production problems. One of the worst movies in the entirety of the MCU. That's not Avengers Age of Ultron. I actually really enjoy. I think it goes in fantastic. I think this movie's underrated. I feel like a lot of people don't give this movie like the flowers it deserves. Ultron is a great villain. I wish he wasn't a one-off villain. I wish they kept him around and did more stuff with him, right? But I feel like Ultron, pretty good villain. You have some iconic scenes with the Hulkbuster fighting the Hulk. You have Vision coming out, lifting Thor's hammer. There's a bunch of cool stuff. Now, I'm gonna save Endgame. Ooh, sorry. I'm gonna save Endgame and Infinity War for the last, or for the end. Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, a lot of people say that this movie gets worse every time you watch it. I still think it's a fantastic movie. I love this movie. This movie is so good. Seeing all three Spider-Men on screen, like together. Actually, I think I'm gonna move it up to masterpiece. Actually, we'll keep it top of fantastic, but man, this movie's good. You have the Spider-Man Doctor Strange fight scene where somehow Spider-Man beats Doctor Strange. You have you have the Sinister Five, not the Sinister Six. It's good. The original Black Panther is also fantastic. I wouldn't say it's as good as Spider-Man No Way Home, but I really like Killmonger as a villain. I think the suits are cool. I do think it is like Black Panther's suit is a little bit of a downgrade in terms of like looks and just being cool from Civil War, but I think the original Black Panther's good. You have that scene where T'Challa loses to Killmonger and he spins and that's great. You have the purple flower. I think it's good. Black Panther Wakanda Forever. I don't think it's as good as the original Black Panther, but I still think it's really good. I'll put it next to them. They're like I don't know. This, unfortunately Chadwick Boseman and everything that happened with him kind of, affected this movie, but it's still a good movie. It's still a good movie. Black Widow. I wouldn't say it's a disaster movie. I would just say it's bad. I don't like how they handled the Taskmaster. But you have like some really, really cool scenes. The costume looks great. Um, yeah, I mean, I think Black Widow is just interesting. It's not a complete just like piece of hot garbage, but it's not the worst, but it's not good. Captain America Civil War. I think do I want to put it above Black Panther or below Black Panther? Say I'm going to put it above. Seeing Iron Man and Captain America fight, the end scene is really good. The entire question that they pose throughout that movie of should superheroes be monitored, and especially the Sokovia Accords after what happens in Avengers Age of Ultron, like that plays a large role going into this movie. You get to see Spider-Man in the MCU for the first time. There's a lot of good points in this movie, so I'll put it in fantastic. Captain America: First Avenger. I'd say it's underrated. I wouldn't say it's as good as Black Panther or Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Actually, I'm gonna move Age of Ultron down that average. No, I'll keep it in fantastic. Captain America: First Avenger. Really good movie. Think it's underrated. I it just this movie kind of like speaks to me in a certain way. It's just there's a lot of fun stuff. When Steve Rogers gets a super soldier serum for the first time, and he chases after the guy in the submarine. Um, he uses the car door as a shield. When he goes and he saves Bucky and all the other soldiers, this movie has a lot of high points. The first masterpiece of a movie gonna be Captain America Winter Soldier. Captain America Winter Soldier is pretty much everything you want out of a spy, like espionage movie. It's super good, well paced. Winter Soldier is so badass in the movie. He seems like an actual like really good match for Captain America as a villain. Um, what else is cool? The entire helicarrier scenes at the end of the movie. Nick Fury spins the block and he's like, you know, both eyes open. That's a like iconic scene. The elevator scene is amazing. I love Captain America Winter Soldier. Captain Marvel, I'm gonna put it in bad. I don't think this movie is as bad as people say it is. I mean, I got some enjoyment out of watching it for the first time. Just I don't think it's as good as I don't think it's an average, but I don't think it's in disaster. Quantumania, I think disaster is going to be left for like Quantumania, your Thor the Dark World, stuff like that. Anyway, Multiverse of Madness. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put this top of average. This movie, I didn't like it at first when it came out, but I think it's grown on me like quite a bit. I like it. I definitely like it now more than I liked it like when I originally saw it. Wanda, I think, is really powerful, but you kind of have like two really powerful magic users fighting each other in this movie, which I'm not saying is what happens in Doctor Strange 1. I just think Doctor Strange 1 is a lot more interesting. I want to I'll put it right above Black Panther. Actually, I'll put it below Black Panther 1 and 2. I think Doctor Strange, the original, is really good. You see kind of like the creation of this wonderful character in Doctor Strange. I think, all the when he goes to Kamatage, when he does all the learning, when he uses the astral projection to read all those books, I think that's great. I think the him outsmarting Dormammu in the end of the movie is great. I think everything about this movie is really good. Echo. I actually don't think I've seen Echo, so I'll put it. I won't rank it. I don't think I've seen Echo. Is this the Eternals? Now, put Eternals. Eternals is not my favorite. I'm gonna put it in top of bad. Now, I don't hate Eternals as much as like everybody else hates it. I don't think, but like I got like a little bit of enjoyment watching Eternals, and I definitely think Eternals is one of these movies where it's gonna lead into more movies in the future rather than uh rather than it's supposed to be enjoyed as a standalone thing. I think this is just kind of like plot points because now you have the introduction of adamantium in the MCU and stuff like that. So I mean I think it's good. Falcon and Winter Soldier. I didn't like this TV show. I'm also gonna put it in bad. I'm not gonna give it disaster. I'm gonna put it below Black Widow. I didn't like this TV show. I feel like you know, I don't know. I don't know. I really liked Sam Wilson's costume by the end of it. I think that's really good. I like the white costume. I mean, I don't know. There's not like a lot of great things in this TV show that really stand out to me. So Guardians 1, masterpiece. Guardians 1 is amazing. Guardians 2, Guardians 2 is like average. I don't like all the stuff that they did with Ego, and I think it's kind of like a mild movie. Not my favorite for Guardians 2. I really like the intro. I really like the intro to Guardians 2 though, when they're fighting that like monster at the very beginning and you have Baby Groot going all around the battlefield. Yeah, I'll put it top of average. Guardians 3 above Guardians 2 and masterpiece. Guardians 3 is special. It's really good. If you haven't seen Guardians 3, go watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It is so good. Um, all the scenes with like Rocket like almost get me to cry. Like it's really good. Um, Now the Hawkeye TV show, I'll put it doesn't feel good to put it below. We'll put it above Ant-Man. It's really good. I like it. I enjoyed it. It's definitely one of my like It's definitely one of the TV shows I enjoyed more of. But yeah, I mean it's good. I'd say it's about average. I'm Groot. I don't think I watched either of the Groot specials. Well, no, I've seen scenes from the second one. I'm not gonna rank them. Sorry. Iron Man 2. I rewatched Iron Man 2 the other day, and this movie was the first movie I ever saw in theaters when I was like 5 years old. I love this movie so much. I love it so much. This is one of my like when I think of, I have so many good memories surrounding this movie, and it really hurts when people say they don't like this movie. And I've just recently rewatched it, maybe like 2, 3 weeks ago. And honestly, it all makes like a lot of sense that Tony Stark is dying throughout the movie, and he's just trying to have fun with his life for like, because he thinks it's all over. And I actually really enjoy this movie. I'm gonna put it in. I'll put it below Age of Ultron and Fantastic. I'll put it. This will probably be the end of Fantastic, just because I don't think it's as good as the other movies. Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is fantastic. I would put it below First Avenger. Iron Man 3 is really good. Original Iron Man, masterpiece. Enough said. This movie has a great villain in Obadiah Stane. The entire where he gets kidnapped at the beginning of the movie, and it really makes Tony Stark. You really get to see the evolution of Tony Stark as a character in the original Iron Man, and it's really like it's a really nice story seeing a man that goes from selling weapons and capitalizing off of death and destruction, and then he becomes a person that like goes against all of that. Loki season 1 and season 2. The original Loki season 1, it's good. I'd say Loki season 1 is fantastic. Put it right. I put it above First Event. No, I'd put it below Black Panther. Loki season 1. Loki season 2 is even better, I think. Loki season 2 is phenomenal. We'll put it below Civil War. Loki season 1, season 2, really, really good. Moon Knight show, I didn't like. I'm gonna put it I think it's down here. Now, a lot of people do like the Moon Knight show. It's just not my favorite. I don't like all the passing out, Mark Spector not fighting scenes, and I think it's just, I don't know. I feel like they could have done so much more with the character. And another thing, like Moon Knight in the comics, his mask is never shown. It's just a silhouette, and I think they could have done just a lot of stuff cooler. I think the costumes over designed. There's like a lot of stuff I don't like. Miss Marvel, the TV show, it's bad, man. It's bad. I remember watching this one for the first time. It's bad. It's not my favorite. Secret Invasion TV show. It's not my favorite. I'd put it in bad. I'd put it below Eternals. It's not good. Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is really good. I'd put Shang-Chi above Age of Ultron. Shang-Chi is really good. She-Hulk, I'm gonna say disaster. Or this TV show is just not good. I mean, like all the scenes of why was She-Hulk twerking with Megan the Stallion? They also like made me hate Smart Hulk even more. I don't know how they did that with this movie or with this show. Terrible. Spider-Man Far From Home. Uh, I think it's average. I'd put it like above Guardians 2. You have the cool scenes of where he mistakes the AC/DC song for Led Zeppelin. I think that entire like suit creation scene is great. I think him getting hit by the train and that leading into that scene is good. I think the ending fight scene's really good. I think I think the entire premise of the movie, what is the world going to do after Tony Stark? I think that's a really good premise for the movie. And yeah, that's where I'd leave it off. Spider-Man: Homecoming is fantastic. This movie is so good. I put it above Shang-Chi. I'd actually, dude, we'll put it below Civil War. Yeah, Spider-Man: Homecoming is quite literally everything you want. Him hacking the Spider-Man suit, him getting stuck in the detention center, and he's like, "Oh yeah, now I have to get out." The entire monument scene where he goes and saves his class is great. The ending fight scene where he's like, "I don't need the suit because I'm Spider-Man." Like that is just that's great. I love it. Um, Original Avengers. I mean, this is classic, man. This is classic. This is put it below. No, I put it below Loki. Loki season two. Yeah, Avengers is great. Like this movie is so good. Oh, this is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. It's good. It's good. You have a lot of funny scenes. Bucky's arm. We'll put it. I don't know. This doesn't feel right to be ranking with like full length TV shows and movies. Well, we're not gonna rank it. Hulk is average. Put it below Multiverse of Madness. Hulk is below, like, I'd say, the entire scene with him and Abomination fighting is pretty good. The, I forget, is it like isn't this movie the one with the fridge scene where there's like a bunch of green, like, bottles? Yeah, this movie's not bad. The Marvels, disaster. I'd say it's above She-Hulk, though. I'd put it above the original Miss Marvel TV show. Yeah, this movie's hot garbage. Thor is not as good as I remember it being, especially that I just like rewatched it not too long ago. I'd say it's above Multiverse of Madness. Thor is like nothing like remarkable. Thor Love and Thunder, I don't actually hate this movie as much as everybody else hates this movie. That being said, I'll put it above I'll put it at the very end of average. I honestly didn't hate this movie. I don't I actually I think some of the jokes are not good. I think the yelling sheep or goats or whatever at the start of the movie, not that funny, right? But I don't think it's like the worst thing ever. I really don't think it's the worst thing ever. I think people need to give it a second chance. I think Gore's like not a terrible villain, right? Like, you know, I'll move it down to bad because I know people will get angry if this isn't like in bad. But I like it more than Eternals. I like it more than the original Captain Marvel. Like I don't think it's a terrible movie. Ragnarok masterpiece. Let's put it. It's not as good as Guardians Volume 3, but it is better than Guardians Volume 1. Thor Ragnarok, funny. I like the entire like they couldn't actually beat Hela, so they had to get Ragnarok to beat Hela. I think this movie plays into itself really, really well. Thor losing his eye, Thor learning that he's the god of thunder, not the god of hammers. There's nothing more to say about this movie than it's just wonderful. Thor: The Dark World. Now, I used to think this was the worst movie in the MCU, but then all of these movies came out, so we'll put it at the bottom of bad. Yeah. Oh, and the TV shows. WandaVision's good. I'd say WandaVision's average. Not as good as Guardians. Maybe above Thor, below Thor. Actually, I wouldn't say it's as. Yeah, yeah. Let's say let's say below Guardians. WandaVision's good. I like it. I enjoyed it. Werewolf by Night. Haven't seen it. What if season one and season two? Like this had so much potential. Like this had so much potential, and the fact that we got, if Howard the Duck had a kid, um, the fact that we got, what if Ultron uh won and he kills Thanos in like one hit and he steals all the Infinity Stones? Stupid. Stupid, stupid. Terrible. Now we're on to the last two movies, and without a doubt, I think Avengers Infinity War is the best movie in the entirety of the MCU. This movie has everything you want. Great fight scenes. You have Thanos being an actual threat. I love in this movie that they actually lose. I feel like superhero movies need to do that more because you hype up this villain over the course of so many movies, right? Thanos has been hyped up, right, as this, end all be all character that's been in the end credit scene of every major Marvel movie up until then. Or not all of them, but you get what I mean, right? I think that this movie is the culmination of something great. I love the fight scenes. The choreography is great. Like you have the Avengers or at least Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Spider Man interacting with the Guardians. You have Thanos throwing Gamora off the cliff. That's very emotional. You have that really really cool scene of the train station and Captain America catching the spear. You have that entire Wakanda fight scene at the end of the movie. That's phenomenal. You have Thor coming in to save the day, and then you should have aimed for the head, and Thanos wins. That movie is phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. Endgame, a little bit of a nostalgia bait. I do love this movie though. I'll put it. We'll do this. We'll do this. Yeah, that seems right. Let's say even Civil War has the potential of going up here, so I do think this is a good ranking. Endgame is phenomenal. It's a little bit of nostalgia bait. But the thing is, I think I've rewatched Endgame more than I've rewatched any other Marvel movie, and that's saying something because I own the original Iron Man and Iron Man 2 on DVD, and as a child in grade school, I'd rewatch them every single Saturday and Sunday all day long, and yet I still think I've rewatched Avengers Endgame more than both of those movies. I love Avengers Endgame. I think it's a masterpiece. It's I think this movie's just phenomenal. There's like I did say there's a nostalgia bait, but that end fight scene is so good. That end fight scene is so good. I'm gonna put it over. Yeah, I'll put it here. I like that end fight scene is so good. It moved it up past Thor Ragnarok. I mean, what more do you want from a Marvel movie than what they gave here? You have the time traveling adventure, they go back to New York, they interact with every single character in the MCU. They almost lose to Thanos at the end, and you have the classic I am Iron Man, right? And that's like one of the perfect endings in all of cinema. So anyway, let's get back. Do is there any changes that I would make to this ranking? I think yeah, Infinity War is the best. Um, Captain America, I'm gonna swap it with Guardians 3. Guardians 3 is phenomenal. This is like so emotionally driven. Really, just this movie is phenomenal. If you haven't seen Guardians 3, watch Guardians 3. Um, Winter Soldier is amazing. Spy espionage thriller. Endgame is great. I have to move Endgame up, man. This movie is so good. Then we have Captain America Winter Soldier. Thor Ragnarok is amazing. The original Guardians is really good. Spider-Man No Way Home, incredible. The original Iron Man, incredible. Civil War, incredible. Spider-Man, yeah, this stuff is really good. And then we taper off into the average. Now, I will admit that this, just for nostalgia reasons, does make it fantastic, but like realistically, if I wasn't so heavy on this would probably make it to average. But man, I love Iron Man too. Spider-Man Far From Home, it's really good. I like the premise of this movie. Guardians 2 is really good too. WandaVision's good. Thor is like where you really start getting the average. Multiverse of Madness is really average. Hulk's really average. I actually really like the Hawkeye TV show. Just I wouldn't put it like above any of these movies. Ant-Man is pretty good. I like the entire heist aspect of this movie. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is underrated for how funny it is. I actually enjoy this movie a good amount. I love like the card tricks are good. That entire ending scene where we got you, Scott Lang, and then the suit shrinks down. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Thor: Love and Thunder. I don't hate this movie as much as like everybody else does, but Eternals fine, Secret Invasion fine, Captain America is not that great. What If, Fumble, Moon Knight not that good. Black Widow, not that great. Falcon Winter Soldier, not, I mean, it's not that good. Thor Dark World, kind of trash. Disaster, these are all hot garbage. So I know this isn't the most original list ever, but this was like all my honest opinions on all the MCU projects. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.